So Marcus, we're on the road again.
Once again,
Where are we this week?
we're in Northern Ireland.
I'm genuinely forgetting where we're going now. Every week is somewhere different. But
It's a bit of a blast, isn't it? And this came about from a conversation at Christmas, at a Christmas dinner, and we met the chairman of Northern Ireland, Paul, and we just said, yes, we'll come out and support the conference.
and that therein lies the problem. We say yes constantly. You know, we get invited and we can't say no. So our poor wives are,
Can we say a call out to our good ladies? We are really sorry, but we are learning by coming out on the road about what matters to each and everyone across the country in the different regions.
Absolutely, and each region we visit. I mean, we were at Southwest 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're in Northern Ireland today, and every region that we go to have got its own unique little quirks that are slightly different from one another. And that, especially here in Northern Ireland, we've had some fascinating conversations last night, didn't we?
Yep, we have, yeah. And touching on last night, I mean, I've got to say that the warmth that we've had since we got out here last night, we had a couple of pints, I'd say, in the bar. And thank you to Kevin Holrick and obviously a few other friends that were in the bar last night.
That's right. We had Alex Burkhart, who's the Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary, who was with us as well.
Yeah.
Obviously Barry, who's the local lead for West Belfast as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we had an absolutely fantastic night, and like you say, everybody's made us really, really welcome.
So let's go on to today. I mean, just to touch on the conference, because I'd like to pay tribute to the members out here and the energy in the room. But we talked about the way the conference is here, and the one thing I'm going to walk away with is that they're talking about the things that matter to Northern Ireland, the region, and specifically not how national policy pushes down, but how what matters going on here, they're going to push the policy up.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. We go to a lot of these conferences, both political and non-political conferences, and it all seems to be about the national picture. Everything is about the national, but these are regional conferences, and by doing so, it's really refreshing to see that they're talking about real issues that are happening in this region. We've just come out of a fascinating police one.
100%,
I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And earlier on today, you had the local business individuals, entrepreneurs, talking about some of the issues of the high street, about apprenticeships, about the leg up, should we say, high streets need and the policy, but also the direction of travel required from local government as much as national government.
Yep.
So I think it's taught us a few things, but the one thing I will come to is that might be what's going on, locally, regionally, but talk about the national bit. Everybody in that room is behind Kemi.
100%. It was great to see the party chairman here as well.
Yep.
Kemi did obviously a video message. She's busy in Parliament today, but the chairman was absolutely bang on. It doesn't matter which region we're from. We've all got these minor differences. We are very much one Conservative family, and that came across really, really well today.
Yes, and the one thing that came across last night is about the torch. The torch being passed on. Now, Craig wants a rebrand of the Conservative Party.
I hate that tree. I hate the tree.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you could look at the tree and you could say it's rooted in the past, where the torch is about the future. And isn't the future about young people?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, when the rebrand happened with the tree, I actually loved the tree at that time. But I just think, we are a brand new, renewed Conservative Party. And I've said this to pretty much everybody that will listen, the senior members of the party as well. And that tree now is rooted in the past. It's no longer the tree of our future. And previously we had the torch.
Yeah.
I honestly feel now that torch has been passed from Mrs. Thatcher to our current leader, Kemi Badenoch, and I think it would be a fitting tribute if we bought the torch back and got rid of that tree. So if anybody is watching that's got influence on this,
listen to what we're saying.
Get rid of the tree.
We're going to do a poll, okay? You've got to get rid of the tree. So let's talk about the future, and actually we've been talking about young people, and in the last few days we were in London on Wednesday at a charity function, and here today, and young people, it now feels like very strongly that the next election is going to be an election won on the future one on young people, what we're doing for them, how we're going to deliver it, and the messaging. And it's already started to come through today, because our emails have been pinging today.
It has.
With information from the party about the policies that Kemi and her team are going to, well, they're putting out there now.
Yeah.
They're making that commitment.
Well, I had a discussion with a friend of mine on the PMQs this week when Kemi led on the student loans.
Yeah.
And he said, is this the right thing that we should be leading on in PMQs? And I was like, actually, it's the perfect thing, because the young people coming through now, these are going to be our next leaders, these are going to be our next politicians and everything else. And we've got to give them a fighting chance, because I think for a long period of time now, young people have really been overlooked by all political parties.
Well, let me just give you the headlines of what's come out today. So, reforming student loans, back in apprenticeships, not just universities. You get your information.
I'm getting mine up as well.
Yeah. This is live, so we're always off the cuff here. First job bonus. I'll come back to that shortly. So, you're talking about the student loans and the plan, and of course, just touching on the student loans. Kemi, this week, Martin Lewis, dealing with the doorstepping that was no doubt planned. Mm-hmm. But the way she dealt with that, and they were combative, and Martin Lewis had to apologise, and thank you, Martin, for apologising. And I believe Kemi got her own back when she went to his offices yesterday with some students to talk about the plan to student loans. Mm-hmm. Now, she's targeting on that first. But the thing is, on that TV interview this week, she wasn't given enough time to explain why she was going with Plan 2 first before dealing with the rest. Because it's current, because it's from my understanding, it's the Plan 2 is where the largest increase is with regards to charges.
Yeah, it's 3% on top, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So this is just the start of the conversation around this. And I think that, and I hope that when we get closer to the election, that it's going to be expanded to a point where you haven't got a generation who can't get a mortgage because they're paying off the student loan.
Yeah, I mean, it's been totally unfair for a long time, and some people may say, well, it's the Conservatives that put us in that, but this is something that is evolved. You can't fix yesterday's problems by not changing and facing them today. So addressing these problems right now and understanding that, a graduate leaving on a moderate income is never ever going to pay this loan down. It's always going to continue to increase. And that is fundamentally unfair, because a lot of these kids go into further education, they do their degree, and they've got a degree that doesn't really mean much. I mean, back when you and I were younger, you went to university if you were clever, and neither of us did.
No, that's true. No, we just got we just graduated to the life experience.
That's right, that School of Hard Knocks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've done okay.
We've done all right. But just going on to the next bit here, which is to help 100,000 more young people into high quality apprenticeships. Now, at the moment, the national figure is something like 15.7% of 16 to 24-year-olds are unemployed. Yeah. In our territory, in the East Midlands, that's 17.7%. With current traction, if it carries on to 2030, it could hit 25%.
Yep.
So this piece where Kemi is saying, and again her team, Andrew Griffith and all of the Shadow Cabinet are working hard towards, is about building an offer to businesses that will support young people into it, with £5,000 incentive to take on British 18 to 21-year-olds looking for their career start.
Yeah. And I think this is a brilliant policy coming out today. If we look at Labour do things the wrong way around. They came out last year, we're going to build 1.5 million new homes. Okay. How are we going to do that, Mr. Starmer? Because we don't have electricians, we don't have brickies, we haven't got the infrastructure to do it. So therefore, we have to import more people into this country. And what Kemi and her team have thought about this long and hard, and if actually we need to plan ahead, because we do need more homes. I know a lot of people don't want it, all the NIMBYs don't want it in the backyard and things like that, but ultimately we are a growing population. Our kids need homes. And she's setting the groundwork here. Before the aspiration of those building homes, we need to create the people that are actually going to build them. And this apprenticeship policy is absolutely brilliant.
And on top of that, so what she's also saying then, put in the first £5,000 of the national insurance a young person would pay when starting their first job into a personal savings account in their name.
And that again, what an amazing policy that is. That £5,000 is going to go up in value. They're going to be able to add money to it as well. And by the time they finish that apprenticeship, what have they got? They've got a deposit for a house of their own. And we are the party of aspiration. We are the party of ownership. We want to see young people get on that ladder as soon as they possibly can.
100%. And Kevin and I were talking about this last night, about where businesses can support and help here. And we've talked about some best practice across the East Midlands where, in certain industries that companies are actually putting, like this £5,000 lift, putting equivalent amounts to one side every year. And if the apprentice stays with them over 6-7 years, so that retention's there, they carry on that work, their productivity's improved, but if they carry on that work, they then release that pot when they're 25 towards a deposit allowance. And I've called on this for a long time, from the shop floor to the front door policy. Yep. This is the first step towards it. Absolutely. And this is a brilliant step.
Yeah. And if we can get real engagement with businesses, real business owners that are going to look at this policy and go, £5,000 is a brilliant start, but what can we do to help? You're going to get businesses engaging with this as well, because obviously you run a big corporate, and this is something that a corporate your size is going to really be able to help with young people, because ultimately, if we can get these onto home ownership, get them stable, get them paying taxes, this is how we build a country for tomorrow.
Let's talk about the East Midlands, because again, today has really tuned me into the way that this conference has been talking about its own region, which is Northern Ireland. So we talk about the East Midlands, we talk about youth issues across the East Midlands, and whether it be Leicestershire, in Nottinghamshire, and you can see that crime is on the increase. You can see that young people can be persuaded onto wrong paths. But I also think within this, what we've got to try and do, and this is working in tangent with local government and working in tangent with the police as well, because we've listened to the police today, is what we can do in educating young people at that 14, 15-year-old, to understand the pathways of opportunity and not to go the wrong direction, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So anyway, look, I think there's a great piece come out there today.
It's been brilliant.
It's been brilliant. I've got to ask one question. How's your feet?
It's the last time I'm ever coming to a conference or anything really in a brand new pair of shoes.
Oh, bless you.
I'm in tatters. I can barely walk. And you've laughed a lot.
Oh, I've laughed a lot. Listen, we're going to try and hopefully maybe get a quick a few conversations later on with other people. But I just want to kind of tap off here to say, well done, Northern Ireland team.
Brilliant.
What
Absolutely
a brilliant conference. Yeah, well done, guys. Paul, best of luck, mate. And from our point of view, the East Midlands lads are going back to the East Midlands.
Very happy, but with sore feet.
With sore feet.
Let's go and get a cup of tea.
Okay, mate. Well done.
Bye.